this is the whole trope, right? Like Hans Gruber, brilliant mastermind, like, and John McClane intellectually is outmatched. Like he can't, but he wins because he's tenacity and resilience and grit, and
Yeah.
he doesn't. He he's like the Terminator. He never gives up.
Original geek, that's who I am. Rolling 20s with my squad, we got a plan. Marvel heroes on the wall, D&D dice in hand. Original geek, across the land. Level up, never gonna give it up.
All right, welcome to Original Geek. This is the All Fandom podcast where we dig into sci-fi, fantasy, comics, and every pop culture obsession that built the multiverse we live in today. So whether you're Gen X, Millennial, or just geek curious, welcome to the basement. Hi, I'm Steve Scarfo.
And I'm Jeff Shaw, and we'll be your yippee-ki-yay for today's defiant final victory. What are we talking about today, Steve?
I think the yippee-ki-yay, if you didn't get yippee-ki-yay, then you have to catch up because we're talking Die Hard. Last episode we did a Christmas episode for Rankin and Bass, and I will say we're gonna do another Christmas episode with Die Hard, but we'll talk more about that in a little while. So if you are not sure where that lands, stick around for Geek Court. That's all I'm saying. So we're gonna talk about what we talked a little bit before we started. This is probably one of the best action franchises that have come out. It started in 1988 with Bruce Willis getting on a plane for California when he didn't want to.
Absolutely, yeah. And I have to say, because I know, and we're going to talk about this more later, but I was already a huge fan of Bruce Willis from Moonlighting. And so, because I know some people were like, Bruce Willis, could he pull that off? I'm like, I was a believer from the get-go. So I thought that first Die Hard was amazing. But I will admit, I did not see Die Hard 2 like re-release, like streaming. And I did see Die Hard 3 and 4 in the theater. Die Hard 5, I did wait till streaming, but 3, like, so I was fully on board with Die Hard 1, but I will admit with Die Hard 2, I didn't see it in the theater. Did you see it in the theater? I mean, I don't know.
Die Hard 2?
Yeah.
I don't think I did. At best, it was a video store rental for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was not a movie that I saw. In fact, I will admit, I'll go one step further and admit I forgot all about the plot of Die Hard 2 until we started doing it. I have seen it. I don't know why. My favorite after the original is 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance, with Samuel L. Jackson and the whole in New York. And while we were prepping for this episode, I was going back through looking for stuff, and I was like, wait, that's not 2? I thought it was number 2.
Yeah.
I completely skipped over 2 and thought it was number 2. But, we talked about how the first 2 are both Christmas. They're both based in Christmas. And I knew for sure that one was the middle of summer in New York, right? Just because of the way they run the whole movie. But I completely forgot about 2. And I don't think that's anything. It's not a knock on the movie. It's just, I think it was one of those, I saw it maybe once or twice when it was probably still a videotape release. And I just have never gone back and watched it again.
Well, it's funny because, as I really enjoyed it, but, one of the reasons I didn't go was I'm like, oh, it just looks like they're recreating it. Like it looks like the same. It's Christmas, but we're put in an airport. So it just seemed like it was just going to be more of the same. But box office wise, it was an even bigger success than the first Die Hard. And then 3 was bigger than 2, and then 4 was bigger than that. And actually 5, which was, maybe the least well received, actually still made over $300 million worldwide on a $92 million budget. So it still was a success.
And that one was the Russia one, right?
Yeah.
Cadeta Die Hard?
Yeah. Yeah. And I even though I did stream 2 and 5, I thought they were great, entertaining movies. And I and I think, but I agree with you that as far as sequels go. I'd say Die Hard 3. That's with a vengeance, right? Die Hard with a vengeance. Yes.
3, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love that. But I feel like Live Free or Die Hard was in a very similar, was closer to number 3 because it had like these genius masterminds manipulating, huge high stakes. One's cyber warfare in Live Free or Die Hard. Timothy Oliphant is the villain, and he's this brilliant mastermind. And then you've got, this is the whole trope, right? Like Hans Gruber, brilliant mastermind, like, and John McClane intellectually is outmatched. Like he can't, but he wins because he's tenacity and resilience and grit,
Yeah.
and he doesn't. He he's like the Terminator. He never gives up.
Well, and he's got that. He plays from behind in all the movies because he's outmatched intellectually, and he's every time thrown into a situation that someone else has been mapping out for years. I think almost every one of these, like I know obviously 1, they had been planning that forever. 2, this is a takeover of the DC airport specifically to get to, you know what I mean? But they've planned it because it's such a big, complex thing. Die Hard with a Vengeance goes right back to the Gruber days of, with his brother being the main antagonist. So every time McClane's thrown in this, and it's only because he can fly by the seat of his pants. He has great intuition, and he is lucky in a lot of cases, but knows how to deal on the fly. I think that they set him up to always overcome odds, which I think is one of the reasons why all of these, I agree with you. I like them all. I know number 5 gets kind of knocked on a little bit, and maybe going to Russia might have been a little extreme at that point, but it's always the underdog comes back to win, and it's always fighting for the greater good. It's not like we pulled off. I love Ocean's 11, but it's not like we pulled off the heist and we made all the money, but we're technically the bad guys. You know what I mean? But it's bad guys stealing from bad guys in that one. But this is always a good guy fighting for good values and winning. So it's, to me, kind of the core of what you want in one of these movies. It really does. It reminds me of like the first Rocky. You know what I mean? Same kind of thing where it's the underdog comes back to prove his point, and in this case, stay alive.
Yeah, and another thing I like about all of these movies is that because it has that criminal mastermind manipulating everything, that we as an audience are just as much in the dark as John McClane, and we're not just watching this for the plot or to see our hero succeed, but also to figure it out. Like what is going on? We're just as mystified by what they're doing because in the first one it's like, oh, they're terrorists, and that's their motive. Oh no, they're just common thieves. Yes. And then
exceptional thieves.
Exceptional thieves. That's right. Sorry, and he's graduating to kidnapping, so be careful. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So, and then in Live Free or Die Hard with the cyber warfare and the fire sale, and you're like, just how much of how dependent we are on computers and everything, and how they can manipulate the system, and one guy can just bring, or a team of hackers can bring America to its knees because of being able to crash all of these systems. But even Die Hard 2, which was just in that airport, like that was brilliant. And with how they could change all the air traffic and all the way they manipulated that whole scenario. And you're trying to think of, well, what's their ultimate objective? I actually thought it was going to be deeper than it was, because right from the get-go, they're like, we want this general who's incredibly wealthy drug smuggler to be free, and then we're going to go off and retire in the Caribbean. I thought it was going to be a little bit more. We're still masterminds, and it was still a clever setup, but they right from the get-go, like, this is what we want. And I thought, oh no, that's there's going to be a twist like all the other movies. No, no twist.
Very straightforward.
That was it. That was their objective. He knew it from the start.
Well, and then that's a little different. We're thinking of it with 3 movies past that and what they did, right? So at the time, though, they had the first one, which had the twist. Hey, we think they're terrorists, and they are everything we just talked about, but they are really just thieves. So if we're going to make a number 2, we can't give the same twist, because now we're doing the same thing again.
Although,
in the third movie, they say they're thieves, and they are, but then they actually do. Then the twist is in the twist, and how they do it, and how they try to push everything.
yeah. Yeah, it's brilliant. But the in Die Hard 2, I thought it was funny because partially I was right that it was just a redo, because John McClane says a few times, I can't believe I'm another elevator shaft. I can't believe I'm, doing this again. What's happening? It's the same thing. Like,
in the trailer, it actually says, how does the same thing happen to the same guy 2 years in a row?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a line from the movie.
Right.
And I love that they poke fun at themselves. Do you know what I mean? They put that in because everybody's going to go, the first thing everyone's going to say is, really? Same guy, same situation.
Yeah,
and
so I'm glad they didn't keep recycling that for each one. Like if you haven't given 3, 4, and 5 a shot, or even gotten past 2, the do give them a chance, because man, the 3, 4, and even 5 are like they are original enough in their own right, and certainly 3 and 4 are amazing sequels.
Well, and well written, funny. I think the balance across all 5 movies and I never looked it up. I will have to, who wrote each one of them, but the writing is consistently tight and the performances are. It's not Bill Hader. I forget his last name. The guy who played the bad guy in the second one. So, you got.
Yeah.
You got Gruber. Oh God, I'm losing everybody's real names. Alan Rickman, William. Oh goodness, I forget his name. And then we got, I forget who the bad guy was, but you have Samuel L. Jackson in the movie. Like the writing and the conversation, it's tight. It reminds me of it's almost sitcom scripty tight. It's not all goofy, stupid jokes, but the conversations are quick and tight. There's no clumsy exposition. You see the story unfold. They talk about it enough so you know what's happening. They show you the rest. Even in 3, where they're talking about a bomb that they've just defused, and they're rushing against time to beat the clock. They talk about leaving it behind, and one of them, I think it's McClane, goes, it's Samuel Jackson's character, because you can't leave that. Some kid could pick it up.
Yeah.
And then later, when the bad guys get the bomb back, one of the bad guys goes to leave the suitcase behind, and the other bad guy goes, you can't leave that. Some kid will pick it up. And it's a tiny throwaway, right? But it just shows it's a callback to an earlier kind of intense line, and now it becomes a little humorous, because now even the bad guys are worried about, let's not blow up kids here. Which is kind of, a slightly redeeming quality, I suppose. But, so yeah, all that to say, really well written. So you stay invested. It's not like there's no point in time where you go, I mean, there are definitely movies I've been watching that are action movies, and you go, okay, I can go to the bathroom now. This is the unnecessary love scene that they threw in because they wanted to throw some actress.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they shoehorn in a love story where you don't need it. So these didn't have that. They stayed true to a fun, poppy, with high stakes action movie.
Yep. All right. Let's flash back, man.
I think we should.
Let's take a trip through time. It's a Geek flashback.
All right. So putting myself back when Die Hard came out, and I was ready for it, like I said, because Bruce Willis, I was already a huge fan. I did not think, oh no, he couldn't do it. I have to admit, even though, and I probably I should probably look this, probably should have looked this up before, but when did Michael Keaton do Batman?
Are you Googling?
I am.
I don't know. It's got to be around the same time.
Yeah. So, like, I was a huge Michael Keaton fan, but I have to admit, I did not think he
89.
could do Batman. Like, I'm like, really? He just seemed wrong for Batman, but he was amazing as Batman. Yeah. So that was 89.
Yeah.
So
So
I
right
think,
after Die Hard.
yeah. So Die Hard was 88. So even though, so I get why some people might have been critical about Bruce Willis being able to pull off this action hero role. He was a wisecracking comedic actor on TV. And although Michael Keaton was already a movie star. So those things, it was
Yeah, but
hard
mostly
for
movies.
some people to like jump into a different genre. In that time period, it's much easier today. Much
Well, yeah,
easier
and-
today.
And Keaton's were all comedy. And again, the Batmans that had Michael Keaton in them anyway, I think he did 2 or 3, they had that same tone, that lighter, it's dark, we have high stakes, but we're going to throw in these moments of levity. And I really think we could talk about it. I hadn't thought about it in terms of Batman before, but we could throw it into our evolution conversation. Stick around for Geek Evolution. I think it informed later movies and how they handle action and intensity. And they realized that it didn't take away from it, that it actually made it better. It enhances it.
Yeah, and what's funny is I still didn't learn my lesson after Michael Keaton worked there and Bruce Willis. Well, like I said, I was already on board with Bruce Willis's transformation, but I think about when I found out that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker. I'm like, come on, Heath Ledger? For those who, might not remember, like before the Joker, Heath Ledger was like in teen movies. He was
10
like kind
Things
of
I
this
Hate
more
About You and
heartthrob. Yeah. And I like the Joker, really? He was the most amazing Joker, of course, as people know. But so, I think, we're wrong to pigeonhole people, but, once again, we're supposed to stick with Die Hard. So I was an early adopter for Bruce Willis making that transition to the big screen.
I mean, I think I was in the same spot, right? And it was a time when people didn't change, right? If you were a comedian or a comedy actor, you did comedy movies. And, in the 80s and maybe even to the early 90s, it felt like Hollywood pigeonholed themselves. I mean, there was a thing like, don't do too many of something because you'll get typecast. And then you can't break out was the implication, right?
Yeah.
If you get typecast, that's all you do. If you get on a Star Trek episode, you're a science fiction guy. It doesn't matter. You can't move. Now, obviously, we know better and we do differently. But I loved Moonlighting. And I think I went in with the same thing because it was one of my favorite shows because I love that smart-ass wisecracking. And it fit and it worked. It was always part of the plot and always, and now I'm going to have to go back because maybe I'm just romanticizing the memories. But yeah, I don't have a lot to add, but I agree. It was awesome to see him pull off what a lot of people were like, and I think he did a great job. But I think now we have to start the hard conversation.
Oh,
And
it's easy.
I think everybody knows this conversation is coming, but let's do it anyway because it's Christmas.
The fandom is divided. It's time for Geek Court.
Okay,
All
so of
right.
course, the question is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is it? We're going to tell you right now.
All right. Well, so who do you want me to defend it as a Christmas movie? Because my defense of it as a Christmas movie is so strong that you probably won't even offer up any counters and will just acquiesce. So I don't know if you want to kick it off.
Challenge accepted. No. After that, you can't throw the gauntlet and say, I'm going to do, if I go first, you can't possibly argue. I think you've known me long enough to know, yes, I can. So,
All right. So
I got you.
before having to study my arguments, I thought of Die Hard as a Christmas movie as a joke that a lot of people were just in on. I thought it was funny. I didn't think it was serious. But after having done the research, it's a Christmas movie, hands down. I'm a total convert. And it starts right with the main theme. The very first sound you hear, sleigh bells. Why use sleigh bells? If this wasn't a Christmas movie, doesn't make sense. You're not going to have sleigh bells on a July 4th movie. No, it is a Christmas movie. It's part of its DNA and set up, and it needs to be like there's some plot critical pieces here. John McClane hates flying. He hates LA. He'd never go there, but needs a really strong, compelling reason to go there because his family's there and it's Christmas. So point A, it's the thing that gets him to LA.
I love how
B,
confident you are about your points right now, by the way. Point A.
Point B, the Nakatomi Plaza has to have a skeleton crew in order for Hans Gruber's plan to work. Can't have, he's got to be that Christmas Eve party with all the big players in the Nakatomi group there, and that's the only way it's going to work. So the police are understaffed due to the holiday, and the final bit, that packing tape, it says like season's greetings or happy holidays, or it's Christmas packing tape. It's the only thing that keeps our hero alive at the end. If it's not Christmas, that tape isn't there. He doesn't get to tape a gun to his back and he's dead. So without it being Christmas, we need that tape. And if you needed any other evidence, there's Christmas songs that are used in it. Just, you can't have, it's a Christmas movie, it's got Christmas songs. And finally, his wife is named Holly. Christmas Holly, huh?
That's
Yeah.
right. One of your arguments is the character's name signals that it's a Christmas movie.
Yes.
See, you made it sound like this was
Holly
going to be
Jolly.
hard.
It's a Holly Jolly Christmas movie.
You made it sound like it was going to be hard to dismantle all of those.
Wait.
Oh, you got more? Okay.
All right. So since you're dismissive, I will bring up one more piece. If you can't be a Christmas movie if you don't have merchandise. Well, there's tons of Die Hard Christmas merchandise, from ugly Christmas sweaters to ornaments to what I think is the creme de la creme. I should own this, but I don't. And that is, so I'm going to have to buy it after Christmas sale. Hans Gruber countdown calendar with him falling from the top of the Nakatomi Plaza.
Shut up. That's a thing.
So the 25th day, he's down on the bottom. He's on the bottom.
Is it a page a day thing? Is that what it is?
No, it's actual. So if you look up Nakatomi Plaza Die Hard Advent Calendar, you can see it is it's like metal.
Yeah.
And you have to manually move
every time
him
you
down
open it
every
up.
day.
Oh,
but he
my
falls one day at a time to the ground till it's Christmas.
Okay.
It's not Christmas until Hans Gruber hits the pavement, and then it's Christmas.
Okay, so
you want to give up?
No. Are you ready to be bloodied like all of his opponents in these movies? Because I'm coming back at you. All right. Your first point was the music.
Absolutely. Yes.
First music. Okay. So it could have really been any music to start the movie. We could have easily had the sound of wind, or it could have been just whatever the popular songs of the day were, whatever was in 1988 and a #1 hit. So I think the music, what makes a strong case for you, could have easily been replaced with pretty much anything else. Your strongest argument by far is number 2, the fact that the holiday leaves them with a gathering in the building, but a skeleton crew, and then the police also have a skeleton crew. But I would point out, the same thing happens on Thanksgiving. And while not as exciting, could easily have been a Thanksgiving holiday situation, because the same format would be in place for the building. It would have been a skeleton crew. It's a long weekend. The cops are all off. Gruber can still easily have come in a few weeks earlier and done it during Thanksgiving. So, then what was your third point?
My third point was the packing tape.
Packing tape. It was a mail cart. There was plain packing tape directly next to the holiday packing tape.
What?
It was literally on the card. I just watched it last night. It had 2 types of tape. He could easily have picked the plain tape. And merch, I will point out that Stranger Things also has ugly sweaters. Does not take place during Christmas.
That's not true.
And, well, there's some episodes that take place during
Yes.
Christmas, but it's not
Stranger
a Christmas
Things is
show.
just as much a Christmas story. You just ruined your own argument.
Oh, well, all right. We'll go. We'll let you have that one.
All the blinking lights in the first season.
But it doesn't take place during Christmas. She just happens to pull those out of storage
It's
because
Christmas.
the lights were
So
flickering.
Christmas.
And then
and the dandruff from
they're like snow.
it's like snow.
It's like I'm dreaming of a white upside down.
yeah, it's like a snow globe.
I'm dreaming
Beautiful.
of a white upside down. And then I might have to edit out my singing. And then the Holly name.
Yes,
That's about as
that's
did
the
you pull yourself
clincher.
did you pull yourself taking a stretch that far? Did you pull a muzzle? Because that one was pretty I don't know. I think
Would
this
that
is,
name have worked any other time of the year? No.
I mean, she seemed a woman in
She'd
her
probably
late
be
30s.
Susan.
I'm pretty sure she wasn't Holly just in December. Maybe she was Holly Marie, and everyone
Notice
called her Marie.
that she's only in the first 2 movies,
That's
which are the
true.
only 2 at Christmas.
because they get divorced.
Because her name's Holly, which is Christmas, and the other movies take place in the summer.
I
So,
think
Boom,
this.
bam, did bang, bong.
I don't think you have got a big bang boom here. I think you make some reasoned, logical, but ultimately incorrect arguments that this has to be a Christmas movie.
And I looked up what music it could have been in 1988 for your argument that it could have been anything. And Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up was one of the biggest hits of that time. And aren't you glad that we didn't get Rickrolled in Die Hard?
All right, I will
So
admit,
that's a Christmas gift right there.
I will agree with you that in this point, on that one point, I am so happy we did not get the Rickroll because that would have been the worst. Although it would have been a nice tie-in and callback at the end of the movie while Gruber was falling to go back to the Rickroll as he's falling. Never gonna give you up. Down he goes. I will say, I think it can go either way. I think it makes itself a Christmas movie by all the things that you said, but I don't think it has to have been a Christmas movie because it both does and doesn't follow. There's 4 elements, or 5, I guess. There's 5 elements that make a movie a Christmas movie. I looked this up. Setting and atmosphere. Does it take place
Boom.
during Christmas? Yeah. Plot dependencies.
Boom.
But the story wouldn't happen without Christmas. Central themes focus on core Christmas ideas like family togetherness, right? Which is him going
So
into,
much.
so iconography and music. You talked music.
You're
we
making
talked
all the
Christmas.
arguments for
I'm
me.
just saying.
Thank you.
Magical elements, which include fantastical like Santa, elves. I don't think it does any of that. No wonder and enchantment. So it doesn't do the 5th one. But while it does hit all 4 of the other 4, the plot of this movie does not require any of that because it could very easily have been Thanksgiving or another holiday. And plot dependence could have been the biggest plot dependence is the building's status. That's what makes this, the building being empty, skeleton crew, makes this possible. The whole thing happens because Gruber has to find the right window of time. And while something like Memorial Day or Labor Day probably aren't going to do it because people don't usually gather, but for the holidays, both Thanksgiving and Christmas. I guess my biggest argument is this could have been a Thanksgiving movie, which sounds stupid. But there it is. Yeah, I think, all right. I think of it as a Christmas movie too.
You just listed them all off.
I did. No, it could. Now, I will say, I think if they moved the holiday and they could justify, again, the biggest plot points are the building status and the reconciliation. If there's another reason for him to come out and the building to be empty, if there's another holiday, or if it's they were a Japanese company, maybe it was a Japanese holiday that, isn't commonly known in America. It could easily have been other things, but because they chose Christmas, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been an entirely different movie. They could have.
It could have had a different character.
South
They could have been
America. And
Yeah.
It could have been an alien predator.
It could have been Batman if it was a different movie.
You're right. It could have been all those things. Unfortunately, for your argument, it's a Christmas movie.
All right. So ultimately, we're saying I'm right, and it's not a Christmas. Is that's what you're saying? Okay. Well, listen. If you stayed with us and you're yelling at one of us to shut up because we're being stupid, and it's probably me. Send us a note, comment on the video, tell us what you think. Was Die Hard actually a Christmas movie? Are you falling Team Jeff or Team Steve on this one? Which way are we going? We're going to have to start a little chalkboard. We'll have to keep track.
I know. We
People,
will.
if you guys start weighing in, we'll start
Yeah.
tracking who's winning which argument.
Yep.
Check us out on all those socials and like and subscribe and all that stuff, and follow us where we argue about stuff like this.
Perfect.
But right now, I think it's time to talk about some treasure.
Dust it off and geek it out, because it's a basement treasure.
They're digging in the wrong place.
All right, I'm going to keep this one quick. We referenced it earlier, but I'm blowing the dust off of the Moonlighting TV show.
Yeah.
Awesome TV show, incredibly, fun. The concept is that he's David Addison, the kind of charming, quippy, romantic lead detective, the Blue Moon Detective Agency, which is owned by, oh my God, the actress. Oh, I gotta look it up.
Sybil Shepherd.
Sybil Shepherd. Yes, thank you. So she's
I forget her character name, but it was Sybil
she
Shepherd.
was a former model, and she's kind of down on her luck, and she's running the detective agency as like kind of the last resort, and what she needs to do to kind of build back her fortune after her manager took total advantage of her. And then for I think 4 or 5 seasons, there's a bit of will they, won't they get together,
Yes.
those two characters. But it was really well written, great. It'll be a great binge for folks, and it's on Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, so it's out there ready for streaming. So that's my basement treasure.
Yeah, great show. 100% agree. You have to. The good thing too is it's the old school serial. So while you do see the characters evolve, like you're talking about, each episode is its own story, right? It's the old school procedural. Problem shows up, they find a fun way to fix it, problem resolves, right? So you don't have to watch the whole thing. It's not one of these like Stranger Things, which we love, where you have to have been watching to keep up with the story. The only thing that changes is their relationship status as you go through it.
But another thing that changes is because certainly it's been a while, but and I know there's still shows out there that have long seasons, but TV shows were always 22 episode seasons. That's just the way it was. And now so many are just 10 episodes here, and but yeah, so these were 22 episode plus seasons. So there's plenty to binge.
Yeah. And just to put the button on that part, these are 88 TV episodes. So while we watched for an hour, these episodes were like 42, 44 minutes
Yeah.
because there were commercials
So
that
many
they had to,
commercials.
and it was, it was live broadcast, not live, but it was, broadcast at a specific time. So they had no choice but to stay within the hour. It was 8 to 9 because there was another show at 9. Like today, when you stream a TV show, it could be 33 minutes. It could be 117 minutes. You know what I mean? These are short. So don't feel like you're getting into any heavy lifting. Oh, go watch Moonlighting. But after you watch Moonlighting, go see the movie, or go stream the movie, I should say, Hudson Hawk. Okay, this is a
Great
movie that
movie.
came out in 1991, and it is the epitome, I think, of the Bruce Willis brand for a movie. Fun, it's action-packed, there's high stakes involved, it's snarky, he's hysterical in it. He works with Danny Aiello in this movie, who I love from other movies. Danny Aiello was always sort of a mobster type, harder, very much a bad guy, like badass or bad, not always the villain, but like he was a tough guy. He was always in serious movies. So to see him in this, where he was lighthearted and playing with Bruce Willis in this movie, it's a heist movie that goes around the world. It's got almost a national treasure feel to it because there's some secrets and they have to figure out puzzles. Andy McDowell's in this movie and she's great too. There's so many great, and actually the bad guys in this movie are Sandra Bernhard and, what's the other guy's name? He plays he's such a fun character actor. Hold on. I had my notes up, but I missed, where is the cast list? Top cast. Andy McDowell, Sandra Bernhard, Richard E. Grant. So Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard play like wildly psychotic, like over the top psychotic villains, and the type of character actors that both of them are, they just make it fun. It's a little campy. It's not serious, but if you're watching like a National Treasure style movie, you don't want it to be too intense. You want it to have some fun. So Hudson Hawk, I don't want to belabor the point. Go see it. I might actually watch it again later today because it's such a great movie. And it's just a fun watch. And there's a fun moment where they do a heist and they use the song Moon Dance by Van Morrison. Right? It's a marvelous night for a moon dance.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
Yeah, but the song for their timing is "Swinging on a Star," where they're singing.
But it
the
is Swinging
song
on a Star. Why do they
to
do
get
Moon
the-
Dance?
I don't know.
They
but
do it with Moon Dance too at some point.
It's awesome. So
Yeah.
it's a great scene.
All right, I got the song wrong, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, go see Hudson Hawk.
From floppy disks to streaming clicks, it's Geek Evolution.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Bruce.
Right. Yes. So, yeah, what I want to talk about, with evolution, with this impact, is really how he, he went, his character of John McClane evolved the action movie star that it was. Before that, they were like Invincible, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and even like James Bond. He like got out of so many scrapes, hardly injured at all. Whereas like at the end of Die Hard and throughout Die Hard, he's just getting hit after hit, his bare feet, walking on crushed glass. Just the vulnerable hero was not a thing. Like this was the first time you saw a hero that just, you really were concerned that he wasn't going to make it. And since then, we've had a lot of heroes like that. And I think that we don't get Daniel Craig's version of James Bond without John McClane. And I love Daniel Craig's version of James Bond, where he's not relying on gadgets, where it's brute force, improvised weaponry, and there's plenty of other variations of this hero out there today, but that is not what it was. And I think when I think about it too, like John Wick is like a combo of that, like the invulnerable hero plus the one who gets beaten up. Like if you've watched
Yeah.
John Wick, like how could he endure so much pain? It's ridiculous. So then there is a bit of ridiculousness about the John Wick pain, and Ballerina is even worse. Like if you've seen that,
God, yeah.
like she gets even beaten up worse, and yet just keeps going. So it's
And still looks fabulous.
yeah, like
I mean,
it's-
like there's no blooding of her face. Maybe
right,
a little
whereas-
bit. She's never beat up.
Whereas like McClane looks exhausted and he's just barely limping along at the end. Whereas John Wick and the ballerina are still like they should be dead, but they're still moving just fine. So
Yeah, I think obviously having a comedy background and loving that stuff, I loved seeing someone who was so good at what he did. I feel the same way about Jim Carrey actually. And Robin Williams, I felt this of. They took, and those guys were a little bit more extreme in their transitions, right? But they went from the comedy genre, which they were all very good at, and moved over to more serious, more intense roles. And yes, Hudson Hawk, the Die Hard movies. I think we talked about it a few episodes. I watched that movie Death Becomes Her with my daughter, which was a Bruce Willis. He was in it. It wasn't his movie, but he was in it.
yeah.
And they're all a little sillier, campier in some ways. But he went from that. He went from like Ted Danson on Cheers to like a little Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Or Stallone. I love Ted Danson, and he's done some great stuff, but he never made that jump. Woody Harrelson's made that jump a little bit, but Bruce Willis went from funny TV guy to certified action hero. I mean, even in the movies that make fun of action heroes, it's Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Bruce Willis. Those are the three that they're at the top of that list when they're kind of poking fun at the action heroes. Stallone even did a movie called Last Action Hero, where in the video store, in the alternate universe, it's Bruce Willis played Terminator. It was a poster of Bruce Willis as the Terminator. I don't know why that sticks in my head, but I love that movie. It was fun too.
That's funny.
But he made that jump. And so this evolution of him, he set the stage for that everyman kind of funny movie. And I think I think he did his job, as we're so fond of saying these days. You know what I mean? He went out and did it, and it wasn't, was every movie he ever made a slap? No, I'm sure there were a couple that I'm not thinking of that were probably fell down a little bit, but not this set, and certainly not some of the other ones we talked about. I think he pulled off a hell of a swap.
Yeah, and actually, when I think about him, one of the first movies I saw him shift out of action hero mode or just, kind of funny role mode was the 12 Monkeys. So
Yes.
12 Monkeys also has Brad Pitt. Yeah, there's another Basement Treasure, digging out a second one.
Yeah. I forgot he was 12 Monkeys. That's weird.
Brilliant movie. And it deals with, it's kind of a sci-fi movie, and he's not an action hero. He's not playing a comedic role. He's a guy from a dystopian future. They've invented time travel, and they're sending these expendable people back in time to try to change the timeline so that the world doesn't get destroyed by this virus. So I don't want to ruin anything, but he's going insane because he keeps getting sent back and forth through time because they can't find the right time to put him. And the machine's sending him to World War I. It's sending him like all over the place. And he finally ends up in the right timeline. And it's just, it's a brilliant movie. Terry Gilliam of Monty Python fame created it. So
I think that was the first time I remember seeing Brad Pitt.
yes, it's one of
12
Brad Pitt's
Monkeys.
early roles. His earliest was Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
And what's great about Brad Pitt is he also is playing against character. He's also deranged and crazy, and he's not like, because,
He's
another
not
thing
the
at that
handsome.
time is like,
Yeah.
if you're a handsome actor, you play handsome roles. And he was not, at least in the insane asylum that we first find him in. He was very against character as well.
I do think it's funny you say that too, because I remember there used to be sort of a joke. It wasn't like a piece of material specifically, but there was this thought process that if an actor wanted to get nominated for, I think I even mentioned it in one of the TV shows as a joke at the time. But if you were as an actor or a serious actor, if you wanted to get nominated for an Oscar, you had to show yourself deformed in some way. Like you
Yes.
couldn't be pretty, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get an Oscar nod, make yourself look bad, and then you'll get nominated just because you did that, because you were so brave not to be pretty.
Yeah. Jean Garofalo, for those who know, she's a comedic. Oh, she was a stand-up comic, then a comedic actress, and she had a line similar to that, where because there were women who like, oh my God, she gained 40 pounds for that role, and she's like, why'd you hire her? I've got the 40. I've already.
Yes.
I don't have to gain it. I can just do the role.
I did
So
not.
I'm not Julia Roberts gaining 40 pounds. I'm right here, ready for
Yes.
the role.
That's hysterical. I've not heard that bit, but that sounds on brand for her and exactly what I'm talking about. There's another movie too, I guess another basement treasure, if you haven't seen it, The Fifth Element, was a sci-fi, one of Chris Tucker's first movie. Mila Jovovich plays this being who has to save the universe, and it's a fun sci-fi. Gary Oldman, one of my favorites, plays the
Yeah,
very goofy looking but
he's so good in that role.
deranged
Yeah.
bad guy. Fifth Element's another fun watch. So
Nice.
definitely check that out.
All right, yeah. So
Um,
that's our evolution. He, that McClane character and his portrayal of it influenced so many heroes today. So when you watch an action movie, you're seeing a very realistic representation of a human being who can be vulnerable, who can get hurt, who has to deal with that. Even Jason Bourne, you could see that happening, even though he has these like almost superhuman powers, but he still gets hurt. And I know it seems weird, but for us who grew up on the A-Team where they crashed a helicopter or getting sprayed with bullets and they're just unscathed, that was like so common. Or like Stallone, like might get grazed, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. So, funny detour. I don't know if you knew this. In the A-Team, nobody ever died. So even the bad guys, when they got blew up, nobody ever died. And it was because Mr. T, who had just come off a Rocky movie and was huge, wouldn't be in the show if people died. He didn't want to be connected with it.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? It's
Yeah.
just sorry. You said it, popped in my brain.
So invulnerable heroes and sometimes even villains
Yes.
were a commonplace. So
All right. But let's talk about what you guys should do. I think we started to, but we're going to do it again anyway.
Your kids don't know how good you've got it.
I think my message is clear. Go see these little known movies and realize that the action heroes that you're used to today started with this movie. Die Hard, as far as I'm concerned, is the birth of this kind of things. So short and sweet. Don't blow it off because it was made in the 80s. It's a great movie.
it's funny, as it just occurred to me because I was trying to think of a more modern example, and people kind of ripped on the new Superman for getting his ass kicked like time and time again. I'm like, this is kind of a John McClane Superman, because he like every other version of Superman. It's not that he doesn't have tough battles. They do. Otherwise, it's not very exciting. But, to start the thing off with him beaten in the snow, needing to be rescued by his dog. Yeah, I think, I can see that. So give these, give these movies a try and check out a lot of the Bruce Willis, content that's out there that you can stream. It's a lot of great stuff. So that's our message.
Yeah, nice and sweet.
It's critical hits and epic fails.
All right. I have a critical. Now we're back just to Die Hard,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We do this if you're a listener and you're with us, we have a topic, but we never stick with it entirely. So, and that's good. I love it. We get to have some fun and talk about all sorts of stuff. But in this case, my hit is specifically about the movie Die Hard. And it's Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber. I love Alan Rickman. I loved Alan Rickman as an actor because I think we talked about it in one of the other episodes, even in movies like Galaxy Quest. Here I go, going on to another movie, even after I just said I'm going to stick with Die Hard. He put so much into his work, and it's so obvious. And you made a joke about it earlier when he said, yes, and I'm graduating to kidnapping, so you better be careful. Like that line, again, I just rewatched this movie last night, and in the mania and the psychosis in his face is so clean. Like you believe it's not put on. He is in a spot where you believe he is this person. And I think the thing that makes, I heard an interview with, I almost think it was Jamie Campbell Bower, the guy who plays Vecna. He was talking with one of the other castmates, and they said this, and I think it's 100% true. The bad guy has to believe he's right. The bad guy can't think he's a bad guy. The bad guy thinks he's the one and he's got a real reason. I'm the hero of my story, right? That's a thing. I'm not pretending I'm making this up. It's just something I'm pointing out. This is what makes him so good. He makes you believe that Hans Gruber is truly this deranged, but he thinks he's the right one. He thinks he's doing this for a right reason, even though he knows he's a thief. So that's my hit. I think Alan Rickman was phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah. And also Hans Gruber had a similar effect in cinema in his version of it, that sophisticated mastermind. And you can kind of see it in Javier Bardem's Skyfall, Bond villain, Raul Silva, and then Samuel Jackson's Richmond Valentine and Kingsman: The Secret Service, that kind of very sophisticated mastermind. Really, I really do think that Hans Gruber helped evolve villains just like John McClane evolved heroes. And now my epic fail is more of an epic miss. It wasn't a fail, but I felt like Lucy Gennaro McClane is played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead in A Good Day to Die Hard in 2013, and before that in Live Free or Die Hard in 2007. And she is a great action hero, and she's already in that Live Free or Die Hard is showing that McClane, John McClane's spirit. And I felt like it would have been, there was a miss in the franchise to keep that thing going, because Bruce Willis is unfortunately, both aged out but even if he's not quite aged out, because we have a lot of older action heroes these days, he has, he has an ailment, right? Of some sort.
I almost think it's Parkinson's.
Yeah. So like he can't do it. But I felt like she's so good as in that role, with a very similar attitude as her dad. And that actress is really good with action movies. If you haven't seen Kate, which came out in 2021, it's the same thing. She's getting the crap beat out of her, but she's still she keeps going until mission is accomplished. And she's done a number of other kind of action type movies. She's also in the Ashoka TV series. So she's a great, actress, and can really pull off that role. So that was it's not an epic fail, just more like they could have, like a miss, that they could have kept this thing going, because it's a great franchise.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. You were talking about how Gruber elevates the villain, which I agree with, and it made me think of Unbreakable.
Yes.
So Unbreakable is a 2000. I was doing some live Googling there, but it's a movie from 2000 with both Bruce Willis and Samuel L.
Yes.
Jackson, and it was
That's right.
they worked together for Die Hard and with a Vengeance in '95. So this was, and in this movie, obviously
Yeah.
they're opposite each other, but Mr. Glass is that sophisticated villain.
Yeah.
So it's funny that there's sort of a coincidental tie back to one of Bruce Willis's movies starts this trend, and then, 12 years later, takes advantage of it.
And
And
then
it's him
funny
again.
enough, he plays a role. I know he has an Achilles heel that is literally an invulnerable.
It's the
He's
reverse.
He's like, McClane, I can be hurt. I'm not gonna change the action hero genre, but then I'm also gonna play
Yes.
this the hero that is literally invulnerable.
It's funny. We started off with the idea that this was going to be a Die Hard episode, and I
It's a
think
Bruce
it's
Willis
really
episode.
a Bruce Willis episode, right? So
Bruce, we love you.
yeah, such a great actor. And I just looked it up. He's suffering from frontotemporal dementia. So it's also a memory disease, but it's his body is shutting down on him. So it's sad, but God, he left us a body of work that is amazing. And so whether you believe or me that it's not a Christmas movie, or Jeff that it is, start with Die Hard, or actually start with Moonlighting, and go see Bruce Willis stuff. But this will likely be I don't know if we'll even get this. I might get this out for Christmas. Hopefully I do. If we didn't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you want to say to each other, just be nice and be happy. But follow us on all social media. For those of you who've been engaging with our content, we love it. Thank you. Keep talking, keep asking questions. originalgeekpodcast@gmail.com. I'm at Steve Scarfo on all social media. Do you want to give out your social media if people want to reach out to you directly?
They can find me.
They can find him. He won't answer you anyway. He's paid. No, but reach out to either one of us. Follow us across the board and check out any stand-up shows. I got some stuff coming up. But otherwise, have a great holiday, and yeah, go see Bruce.
Yippee-ki-yay, OGs.